Snow had been falling since before dawn, the kind that didn't rush or rage but settled quietly, as if the world itself had decided to speak in a whisper. The town square of Millbrook looked like something preserved in time, brick storefronts trimmed with white, bare trees holding the snow in their branches like fragile memories, street lamps glowing soft and amber against the gray sky. People moved slowly, shoulders hunched, boots crunching in rhythm. Winter always demanded patience from those who lived long enough to know its ways. Staff Sergeant Daniel Mercer stood just outside Rosie's diner, stamping his boots lightly against the cold. His marine overcoat was buttoned high, the familiar weight of it comforting despite the bite of the wind. At his side sat Rex. Rex was a Belgian Malinois, older now, his muzzle dusted with gray beneath the black mask of his face. His posture was still proud, still alert, though the stiffness in his back legs showed on cold days like this. Years earlier, Rex had been faster than thought, sharper than fear. Now he was steady, watchful in a quieter way. Daniel reached down and rubbed behind Rex's ears. "Almost done, old man," he murmured. "Then we'll head back." Rex's tail thumped once against the snow. Inside the diner, warmth and noise spilled through the door every time it opened. The smell of coffee, fried onions, and something sweet, apple pie, Daniel thought, hung in the air. He'd ordered breakfast to go, more out of habit than hunger. Since leaving active duty, mornings felt long, quiet, too much time to remember. Rex lifted his head suddenly. Daniel noticed it immediately. He always did. "What is it?" he asked softly. Rex's ears tilted forward, eyes fixed not on the diner, but on the far edge of the square. Two figures stood near a trash bin, half hidden by the snow-laden hedge behind it. A girl, no older than 13, maybe 14, stood holding a baby bundled tightly in a thin blanket. The girl's coat was too light for the weather, sleeves frayed, buttons mismatched. Snow clung to her dark hair, melting into damp curls around her face. Her boots were worn through at the toes. The baby whimpered softly, a sound so small it nearly vanished into the winter air. The girl hesitated, then took a step forward. And another. Daniel watched as she approached, eyes downcast, shoulders drawn inward. She stopped a few feet away, close enough that he could see the red in her cheeks, the way her hands trembled, not from fear, but from cold. She swallowed hard before speaking. "Sir?" Her voice was quiet, respectful. "I'm sorry to bother you." Daniel straightened slightly. Rex did not move, but his gaze softened, tail giving a slow, cautious wag. "Yes, ma'am?" Daniel said gently. The girl adjusted the baby on her hip. The child's face was pale, eyes heavy with exhaustion. "Sir," she said again, as if the word itself gave her courage, can we eat the leftovers?" For a moment the world seemed to still. Daniel didn't answer right away. Not because he didn't know what to say, but because something deep in his chest had tightened, sharp and sudden, like an old wound pressed by accident. Leftovers. Not money, not charity, not even food ordered fresh, just what someone else hadn't finished. He looked at the girl's face, trying not to stare, trying not to overwhelm her with the weight of his silence. She wasn't begging. She wasn't crying. She was asking with dignity. Rex stood then, moving slowly toward her. He stopped a respectful distance away and sat, tail sweeping gently across the snow. The baby's eyes fluttered open at the sound and fixed on Rex's face. A tiny hand slipped free of the blanket, fingers curling. Rex leaned forward just enough for the baby to touch his fur. Daniel felt his throat tighten. "There are no leftovers yet," Daniel said at last. His voice was steady but low. "But it's cold out here. You two shouldn't be standing in this weather." The girl nodded quickly. "We can wait," she said. "We don't want to cause trouble." "You're not causing trouble," Daniel replied. The diner door opened again, warmth spilling out along with the bell's cheerful ring. Someone laughed inside, life uninterrupted. Daniel made a decision then, not dramatic, not loud, just firm. He reached for the door. "Come inside," he said. "Both of you." The girl froze. Sir, we can't." Daniel met her eyes. "I didn't ask you to explain. I asked you to come inside." For a long moment she hesitated, looking down at the baby, then back at the snow-covered square, as if weighing something invisible. Rex nudged her boot gently with his nose. That did it. She nodded. Inside the diner, conversations softened when they entered. Not stopped, just slowed. People noticed the marine coat, the K9 at his side, the girl with the baby. Some offered smiles. Others looked away, unsure. Daniel guided them to a corner booth, sliding Rex into the space beside him. Rex lay down with a quiet huff, positioning himself so the baby could still see him. A waitress approached, early 60s, kind eyes, hair pinned back neatly. "Morning, Sergeant," she said, glancing at the uniform. "What can I get you?" Daniel looked at the girl. She shook her head quickly. "We'll wait," she whispered. "No," Daniel said. "You won't." He turned to the waitress. "2 breakfasts, hot, and milk for the baby if you have it." The girl's eyes filled instantly. She blinked hard, pressing her lips together. "Thank you," she said. "Thank you, sir." Daniel nodded once. He didn't trust his voice. As plates arrived and steam rose from the food, the girl ate slowly, carefully, as if afraid it might vanish. She fed the baby first, tiny spoonfuls, gentle and patient, before touching her own meal. Daniel watched her hands. They were steady, capable, too capable for someone so young. "What's your name?" he asked quietly. For a moment, the world seemed to still. Daniel didn't answer right away. Not because he didn't know what to say, but because something deep in his chest had tightened, sharp and sudden, like an old wound pressed by accident. Leftovers, not money, not charity, not even food ordered fresh, just what someone else hadn't finished. He looked at the girl's face, trying not to stare, trying not to overwhelm her with the weight of his silence. She wasn't begging. She wasn't crying. She was asking with dignity. Rex stood then, moving slowly toward her. He stopped a respectful distance away and sat, tail sweeping gently across the snow. The baby's eyes fluttered open at the sound and fixed on Rex's face. A tiny hand slipped free of the blanket, fingers curling. Rex leaned forward just enough for the baby to touch his fur. Daniel felt his throat tighten. "There are no leftovers yet," Daniel said at last. His voice was steady but low. "But it's cold out here. You two shouldn't be standing in this weather." The girl nodded quickly. "We can wait," she said. "We don't want to cause trouble." "You're not causing trouble," Daniel replied. The diner door opened again, warmth spilling out along with the bell's cheerful ring. Someone laughed inside, life uninterrupted. Daniel made a decision then, not dramatic, not loud, just firm. He reached for the door. "Come inside," he said. "Both of you." The girl froze. Sir, we can't." Daniel met her eyes. "I didn't ask you to explain. I asked you to come inside." For a long moment she hesitated, looking down at the baby, then back at the snow-covered square, as if weighing something invisible. Rex nudged her boot gently with his nose. "That did it." She nodded. Inside the diner, conversations softened when they entered. Not stopped, just slowed. People noticed the marine coat, the K9 at his side, the girl with the baby. Some offered smiles. Others looked away, unsure. Daniel guided them to a corner booth, sliding Rex into the space beside him. Rex lay down with a quiet huff, positioning himself so the baby could still see him. A waitress approached, early 60s, kind eyes, hair pinned back neatly. "Morning, Sergeant," she said, glancing at the uniform. "What can I get you?" Daniel looked at the girl. She shook her head quickly. "We'll wait," she whispered. "No," Daniel said. "You won't." He turned to the waitress. "2 breakfasts, hot, and milk for the baby if you have it." The girl's eyes filled instantly. She blinked hard, pressing her lips together. "Thank you," she said. "Thank you, sir." Daniel nodded once. He didn't trust his voice. As plates arrived and steam rose from the food, the girl ate slowly, carefully, as if afraid it might vanish. She fed the baby first, tiny spoonfuls, gentle and patient, before touching her own meal. Daniel watched her hands. They were steady, capable, too capable for someone so young. "What's your name?" he asked quietly. "Emma," she said. "This is Noah. He's my brother." "How old is he?" 6 months. "And you?" Daniel asked. She hesitated. 13. "Almost 14. Daniel leaned back slightly, absorbing that. "Where are your parents, Emma?" Her eyes dropped to the table. "It's just us," she said. "For now." Rex lifted his head, ears angling toward her voice. He whined softly, a sound Daniel had heard only in moments of concern. Daniel reached down, resting his hand on Rex's neck. "How long have you been on your own?" he asked. Emma swallowed. "Since October." Snow pressed against the windows harder now, thick flakes swirling as the storm deepened. Outside, the world grew quieter, muffled. Inside, something irreversible had begun, and Daniel Mercer, Marine handler, man who had sworn to protect, felt the familiar weight of responsibility settle onto his shoulders once more. This time, it wasn't a battlefield. It was a booth in a diner, and a question no one should ever have to ask. Snow thickened outside the diner windows, pressing softly against the glass as if the storm itself were listening. Daniel didn't rush Emma with questions. Years in uniform had taught him that silence often spoke louder than interrogation. He watched her instead, how she kept one arm protectively around Noah even while eating, how her eyes tracked every movement in the room, alert and guarded. She reminded him of young civilians overseas who had grown old too fast. Rex, sensing the shift in the room, rested his chin on Daniel's boot. The dog's presence had always been grounding, back then and now. Rex had been trained to detect danger, but over time he'd developed something no manual could teach, an instinct for pain. Emma noticed Rex watching her. "He's beautiful," she said softly. Is he yours?" "He's my partner," Daniel replied. "Has been for 9 years." Rex's tail thumped once, slow and deliberate. "Does he work?" Emma asked. "Not anymore," Daniel said. "We're both retired." Emma nodded, as if she understood retirement far better than someone her age should. When the plates were cleared, Daniel paid the bill and stood. "Where are you staying tonight?" he asked. Emma hesitated again, longer this time. "We've been moving," she said carefully. "Shelters are full. Sometimes we stay with church folks if there's space." "Sometimes." Her voice faded. Daniel didn't press. He didn't need to. Outside, the storm had intensified. Snow fell sideways now, wind cutting sharply through coats and skin alike. The temperature had dropped fast, dangerously fast. Daniel pulled off his gloves and knelt in front of Emma, so they were eye level. "Emma," he said gently, "I can't walk away from you and your brother in weather like this." Her eyes widened slightly. "Sir, we don't want trouble." "This isn't trouble," he said. "This is responsibility." She nodded slowly, absorbing that. Days passed. The storm eased. Roads cleared, but something else settled into place quietly. Emma began to laugh, softly at first, then more freely. Noah smiled more. Rex seemed younger somehow, energized by purpose. And Daniel found himself cooking meals meant for more than one, listening for footsteps that weren't his own, feeling the weight of duty transform into something warmer. One afternoon, a knock came at the door. A woman from social services stood outside, bundled against the cold. She smiled when she saw Emma holding Noah, Rex at her side. "We've been looking for you," the woman said gently. Emma stiffened instantly. Daniel stepped forward. "She's safe here." The woman nodded. "I know. That's why I'm here." They talked for a long time at the kitchen table about options, about foster care, about keeping siblings together. Emma's hand shook. "I won't leave him," she said firmly. Daniel felt something decisive rise in his chest. "You won't," he said. "Not if I have anything to say about it." The woman looked at him carefully. "You're offering?" Daniel didn't hesitate. "Yes." Emma stared at him stunned. "Sir Daniel, you don't have to." "I know," he said. "I want to." Rex lifted his head, tail thumping hard against the floor. The paperwork took weeks. Home visits, interviews, background checks. Through it all, Emma stayed, tentatively at first, then with growing certainty. Noah learned to crawl across Daniel's living room floor, Rex lying nearby like a furry barricade. The town noticed. Neighbors dropped off casseroles. Someone knitted a blanket. The waitress from Rosie's diner stopped by with a pie and tears in her eyes. "I knew there was something about that morning," she said. One night, as snow fell lightly again, Emma sat beside Daniel on the couch. "Do you think," she asked softly, "that God sends people when we're hungry?" Daniel thought of a girl asking for leftovers. "Yes," he said, "I do." Snow returned on the night everything changed. It came quietly at first, light flakes drifting down like ash, then heavier, pressing against the world with a familiar hush. Daniel had learned long ago that snow could be deceptive, beautiful on the surface, dangerous underneath. Rex knew it too. He paced more than usual that evening, nails clicking softly against the floor, ears lifting at every sound. Emma noticed. "He's restless," she said from the couch, rocking Noah gently. "He senses something," Daniel replied, though he wasn't sure what. The power flickered once, then again. By the third flicker, Rex let out a low growl. Daniel was on his feet instantly. Years of instinct snapped into place. The lights went out. Darkness swallowed the house, broken only by the soft glow of snow reflecting through the windows. Wind picked up, howling around the corners of the house, forcing itself through every crack. Emma clutched Noah closer. "Daniel, it's okay," he said calmly. "Stay here." Rex was already moving, nose to the floor, then lifting his head sharply toward the hallway. That's when Daniel smelled it. Smoke. Not thick, not yet, but unmistakable. "Fire," Daniel said, voice tight. He moved fast, checking the kitchen, then the utility closet. When he opened the door to the laundry room, heat rushed out. An electrical short. Sparks had caught in the insulation behind the dryer. Flames licked up the wall, hungry and fast. Daniel backed away, heart pounding. "Emma," he called, already grabbing a fire extinguisher. "We need to move, now." Emma stood, shaking but focused, Noah secured against her chest. Rex barked sharply once, twice, then ran to the front door, stopping, turning back, barking again. He was leading. Daniel hit the flames with the extinguisher, buying seconds, maybe minutes. Smoke thickened, stinging his eyes. "Go," Daniel ordered. Emma didn't hesitate. She followed Rex into the storm, snow slashing sideways, wind tearing at her coat. Rex stopped at the edge of the porch, waiting until she was clear before darting back inside. "Rex!" Daniel shouted. The dog ignored him. Rex ran straight down the hallway toward the guest room. Daniel's blood ran cold. Rex skidded to a stop at the crib. Smoke had begun to creep along the ceiling. The fire wasn't contained. Rex nudged the crib hard, then barked, a sound sharp with urgency. Daniel realized what Rex had sensed before anyone else. The baby monitor. A backup battery had overheated. If Rex hadn't caught it, Daniel scooped the crib mattress and blankets in one motion, slung Noah's supplies over his shoulder and followed. Rex out into the storm just as flames burst through the laundry room doorway. They stood outside, snow melting against their faces, watching fire crawl through the windows. Emma sobbed, not from fear now, but relief, holding Noah tight. Rex sat at Daniel's side, chest heaving, eyes fixed on the house. "You did good," Daniel whispered, gripping the dog's fur. "You did real good." Fire trucks arrived quickly, red lights painting the snow in frantic color. Neighbors gathered despite the cold, whispers spreading. "That Marine's dog saved the baby," someone said. "Did you see that?" another murmured. "That dog knew." The house was damaged, but the fire was contained. Smoke and water ruined much of it, but it still stood. So did they. The story traveled fast in a small town. By morning, the local paper called. Then the radio station. Someone posted a photo. Emma wrapped in a blanket. Noah safe, Rex sitting proudly in the snow beside Daniel. The headline read, "Marine and K9 save family in winter fire." But the real moment came days later, in a quiet courtroom filled with soft light and folded hands. Emma stood straight, Noah in her arms, Rex lying calmly at Daniel's feet. The judge looked down over her glasses. "Emma," she said kindly, "do you understand what this means?" Emma nodded. "Yes, ma'am." "And you want this?" the judge asked Daniel. Daniel didn't glance at the papers. He looked at Emma, at Noah, at Rex. "Yes," he said, "with everything I am." The gavel came down softly. "It is ordered," the judge said, smiling, "that Emma and Noah be placed permanently in the care of Daniel Mercer." Emma gasped, then cried openly, tears of a child who had held the world together for far too long, and was finally allowed to rest. Daniel knelt in front of her, voice unsteady. "You don't have to call me sir anymore." She laughed through tears. "What should I call you?" He thought for a moment. "Dad would be nice." Rex barked once, tail wagging hard enough to thump against the floor. Winter passed slowly, as it always does. The house was repaired, not perfectly, but warmly. A new crib stood where the old one had been. Photos lined the walls. First steps, first snowman, first family Christmas. At Rosie's diner, a small plaque now hung near the door. Kindness begins with listening. Sometimes people would ask Daniel about that first day, about the Marine, about the canine, about the moment everything changed. Daniel always answered the same way. She didn't ask for help, he'd say quietly. She asked for leftovers. Rex would sit at his side, older now, slower but still watching, still guarding what mattered most. And every time snow fell softly over Millbrook, Emma would remember that cold morning, not for the hunger or the fear, but for the moment a man, a dog, and a simple act of compassion became a family.